Yo, it's your boy Treka Z, live on Facebook from Lagos, Nigeria. Today we're gonna be talking about the breaking news of Israel striking Latakia in Syria, causing a huge explosion and fires and major material damage. So I'm gonna wait a couple of maybe a minute until people get notified that the hairiest man alive is live. And then we would start talking about the breaking and heartbreaking news that happened today in Syria. So guys, today I was sleeping and I woke up this morning and I just saw the breaking news on social media everywhere of Israel striking Latakia in Syria last night, or this morning. It's like 1:30 a.m. on the date of the 28th of December 2021. It's very heartbreaking. I posted on my Facebook page pictures and videos of the explosion and the fires and the material damage, and it's really crazy and heartbreaking and very disturbing that this is still going on right now in Syria. And I don't honestly understand why Israel keeps on bombing Syria. And it's funny, it's like every single time they want to bomb Syria, they always use Iran as an excuse when Iran has nothing to do with why they bombed Syria. So I'll read the breaking news for you guys and we can take everything step by step, alright? First of all, this is some footage of the explosion that happened yesterday. Wait, let me turn off the flash so you can see. So these are the pictures from Israel strikes. It's crazy, right? Look, these are a picture of the firefighters trying to stop the fires in Latakia. And this is a video of the explosion itself. I posted it on my Facebook page if you guys want to see it. This happened this morning, like 1:30 a.m. in Syria. Can you guys imagine how huge the explosion was? It's very disturbing. Imagine sleeping at night, it's 1:30 in the morning, and then you wake up to this. It's crazy. So now people are reporting about the news and so on, and of course all, like the Israeli government and so on, they're saying we bombed this port in Latakia because of Iran. First of all, there is no Iranian presence in that area, and anybody that tells you that is a liar. They're saying that Iran was sending weapons like through the containers in the port, and Israel knew about these weapons in that port, so that's why they destroyed the whole port, which is a lie, because first of all, no one supplied proof for this claim. They said, okay, they were bombing Iranian. By the way, I'm not a fan of Iran, so don't think I'm saying this because I am defending Iran. I'm not a fan of Iran. I'm a fan of my own country. I love my own country, and I feel sad that this is happening to my country. But number one, people from the Israeli news and government are saying that there were Iranian weapons in this port, which is a lie, because no one provided any proof that there is that. And second of all, if Iran wants to send weapons to Syria, why the hell would they use the Latakian port when they can easily use the Iraqi border to just smuggle the weapons inside Syria? So if Iran wants to send weapons to Syria, it will logically send it through the Iraqi border, because Iran is on the same border of Iraq, and Iraq is on the same border of Syria. If they wanted to send weapons, this is how they would do it. They would not use the Latakia port, because if they're going to use the Latakian port, they're going to use the Suez Canal, and that Suez Canal It's under the supervision of Europe and Israel and England and all of these like NATO countries. So you want to tell me that all of these countries, the European countries, the canal was able to pass through it and they didn't detect any weapons, but Israel was able to know, okay, there was a weapons there, so we're going to blow it? Of course not. And anybody who still thinks this way is brainwashed by the mainstream media. 100% brainwashed by the mainstream media and is uneducated about the issues in the Middle East. Because look, most of the people in the West don't like Iran, okay? Because they're extremists and they call for the death of America and so on. You understand? So that's understandable. But what the Israeli government is doing is very smart. So they would always, whenever they want to bomb Syria, they would always use Iran as an excuse, because when they use Iran as an excuse, that becomes completely justifiable to all the people that are against war. So they'll be like, why did you blow up the Latakian port in Syria? They'll be like, oh, because of Iran. Then when they tell people that, people will be like, oh, okay, it's because of Iran. Then yeah, that's justifiable. They should, oh, okay, do that. Then it's completely understandable because of Iran. So that's how they are what they call it, tricking you guys. They always use Iran as an excuse, and then you guys will accept the crimes that they are doing. There is no proof of Iranian weapons being in that Latakian port. But they're saying we bombed that Latakian port because there was Iranian weapons. Okay, show us the proof. Has anyone come out now, like today? It's been almost 15 hours since the event happened. Has anybody came out and showed any proof that there was Iranian weapons? No one yet. But why is this news circulating like, oh, it's because there was Iranian? Like I said, guys, if Iran wants to send weapons to Syria, they're going to send it through the Iraqi border. It's way more easier and it is faster, and that's how they will do it if they want to do it, you understand? They're not going to use the Suez Canal. It's just common sense, like you guys use your sense. Latakia is in the north. Do you know what means it is in the north? It means it's on the same border of Turkey, not with Iran. So why would Iran send weapons like this when they can send weapons like that? You understand? It just doesn't make sense to me. So the news is this. Let me read more of the news. So, 1 second. So Israel strikes key Syrian port of Latakia, causing massive damage. Israeli warplanes fired a number of missiles at the port at the coastal city of Latakia early Tuesday morning, causing large explosions of fire. According to Sana, which is the Syrian Arab news agency, the missiles came from the direction of the Mediterranean. The Syrian military officials said efforts were still underway to put out fires and assess the damage. There was no immediate reports of casualties in the attack, which activated Syrian air defenses. So it's a very sad day for Syria. It's a very sad day for Syrians. A lot of people, imagine living like this. Like, who lives like that? And let me tell you something very important that no one is even talking about. You know that Latakian canal, what it was importing? It was importing food for the Syrian people. It was importing fuel for the Syrian people. It was importing rice and wheat and all of this stuff that the Syrian people can use to survive, because we're living in a 10 years of war and economic sanctions. So that is what that Latakian port had. It had food, it had medicine, it had rice, it had things that the Syrian people desperately need in this cold winter, to survive. So what is the main reason Israel did this? Like, my only logical explanation is to keep Syria's economy destroyed. They don't want to see us thrive. They don't want to see us grow our economy or, get things back to normal like it used to be. Whenever they see that, okay, things are getting back to normal in Syria, as you guys notice, I haven't been posting any bad news about Syria, because like for the past month, like nothing bad has been happening in Syria, and like things are slowly improving. Then suddenly, boof, this huge explosion, it brought us back down to where we started. I believe in all of us coexisting. Let us all coexist and French kiss each other and whatever. That's what I want. But the problem is, like, nobody's allowing the Syrians to live peacefully. Like, have you guys ever heard of Syria throwing rockets to Israel? Have you ever heard of Syria throwing rockets to Turkey? Have you heard of Syria throwing rockets to America or to UK? So why is everybody bombing us when we're not bombing anybody else? We're trying to fight terrorism. We're trying to fight ISIS. We're trying to fight Al-Qaeda that these NATO countries funded and supported from day one. This is what we Syrians are doing. They created a refugee crisis. They implemented economic sanctions on the country. Every now and then they will bomb us. They will bomb our areas. They will bomb our military bases. They will bomb our villages. They will burn our wheat fields. Like, why are people fucking with us? It is just so sad and so depressing. And I know I always do comedy, but you know, when my country is getting bombed, don't expect me to be doing jokes, you know, because this is a serious matter. People are dying because of this. People are suffering because of this. There is no electricity in Syria. There is no water. There is no fuel. There is no gas. There is no bread. We have a huge crisis in our country and people are suffering. And that's why we have a huge refugee crisis problem today of Syrians. This is the main reason. Like, explain to me how any Syrian would still want to live in his country when this is how he's living every single day. Every single day is this kind of bullshit that he has to face, and it's unbearable. It's unbearable. Like, I left Syria. I left Syria because of this. I have a family to feed. I have a future to build. I've been waiting 10 years for the situation in Syria to improve, and it just keeps getting worse. So what do you expect all of these Syrians to do? And people who start insulting them, oh, you guys are refugees, go back to your fucking country. How do you expect them to go back to your country when this is how they're living every single day? Imagine sleeping 1:30 a.m. and it's Christmas Eve and everybody's preparing for New Year's and people are praying and saying, oh my God, I hope 2022 would be a blessing year for Syria. Hopefully the war will end. Hopefully the economic sanctions will be lifted. Hopefully we will be able to rebuild our country and economy. Then something like this will happen 2 days before New Year's and 2 days after Christmas. Is that fair? That's my question. Like, guys, have you read in the past 5 years, let's not go longer, have you heard of Syria throwing a rocket to another country? Like Syria bombing Lebanon, for example, or Syria throwing missiles to Turkey, or Syria throwing missiles to Israel, or America, or UK, or Canada? No! So why are all of these countries still fucking with us? They don't want to see us thrive. They don't want to see the Syrians improve. They want the situation in Syria to stay bad until they overthrow the Syrian president. That is their goal. They don't have any humanity in their heart. Of course, I'm talking right now about the Western politicians, you know. They don't have humanity in their heart. They don't care about what the people are going through and the suffering that they are going through. All they care about is to overthrow the Syrian president and put a puppet president that will tell them yes sir, who is not independent, who will always be dependent to them, like the Jordanian king, or like all of these dogs that don't have any independence. That's why none of these their people respect their president, because their president are all puppets to the West. If the West tells them, okay, go and suck a dick, they'll go and suck a dick because they have to follow the orders. So the Syrian president is not like that. He doesn't take orders from the West. He's independent and so on. So they don't like it. They don't like it. They want somebody who is a puppet to them. They'll tell him, hello, hey, go and bomb Iran. They'll be like, okay, yes, I'm going to bomb Iran. Hey, stop doing business with Russia. Okay, yes, sir, I will stop doing business with Russia. Am I allowed to have sex with my wife today? Okay, you can have sex with her. Okay, thank you, America, for allowing me to have sex with my wife today. That's the kind of president they want. So all of them, Israel, America, NATO countries, that's what they've been doing to the Middle East. So like, what do you want us to do? What do you want us to do? It's very heartbreaking. Like, imagine, it's just terrible, man. My whole day is spoiled because of this bullshit. People are sending me messages. I have to call my friends and my relatives that live in this area to see if they're doing well, if they're all safe, if anybody got affected by the huge explosion. And all of these containers that were in the port are all destroyed. So all the medicine, all the food, all the rice, the wheat, all of them now are destroyed. Who is going to pay the price for it? Is it not the Syrian people? Is it not us that is going to sit without like a warm house in the winter, without food, without all of these needs that any normal citizen would need? It is us that is going to pay the price. Nobody gives a fuck. And look at, most of you guys are even surprised by the news because your mainstream media didn't even report about it. None of the mainstream media reported about it. But you know, if let's say the Syrian army threw a rock at Israel today, they'll be talking about it for 2 weeks. Oh my god, they're throwing stones at us. Can you believe it? Let's nuclear bomb them. But now that they throw the bomb and rockets on our country, no one is talking about it. No one wants to show them the truth, like, okay, what is going on? What they would do is this. So, Israel, for an example, will throw a rocket on Syria. You understand? The mainstream media will not report anything about it. Then what will happen? Maybe they will reach a point where Syria will get very angry and frustrated that Syria will throw a rocket back at them. And when Syria throws a rocket back at them, that is when the mainstream media will start reporting about it. Oh my god, Syria is attacking Israel. Israel has the right to defend itself. Let's send them money. Let's send them weapons. America is going to go and help bomb Syria too. And that's how they lie to all of you. That's how they will lie to all of you. They will not show you what happened in the beginning. They will only show you the retaliation. So I mean, like, forgive me guys, I am just upset. I mean, put yourself in my position. Honestly, put yourself in my position. You woke up this morning and you saw that this happened to your country. And they're lying about it. They're saying there was Iranian weapons in the port and none of them supplied any fucking proof or evidence about their claim. And no one is talking about it. And no one cares. And this has been 10 years. It's been going on for 10 years. So like, put yourself in my position. Chase Lich Batch is saying, but Assad using chemical weapons against civilian is cool. See, this is the biggest proof that you are brainwashed. Because the chemical attack happened in an area called Douma, which is 15 minutes away from where I lived in Damascus. There was no chemical weapon attack and it was all propaganda and fake news. And I can prove it to you easily. Easily. Damascus countryside was conquered by ISIS, and the Syrian army liberated 85% of that area. All that was remaining was an area called Douma, which is a very, very small area, smaller than a scorpion's vagina. And that is when they claimed that the Syrian army used chemical weapons to liberate Douma. So you want to convince me and the world that the Syrian army was able to liberate Damascus, and Damascus countryside, 85% of it, and all that was left was a small tiny town called Douma. And suddenly the Syrian army didn't know how to, liberate Douma. They had to use chemical weapons to liberate that area. But if you read history and if you follow the news and are not brainwashed by what the mainstream media is filling your brain with trash, you would have saw the events that happened before this whole chemical attack story happened. Let me educate you, my friend. Let me educate you because you need it. I'm sure you've been watching a lot of CNN. What happened, my friend, was this. Donald Trump was president. And Donald Trump came out on TV and said, guys, we're going to pull out all our troops from Syria. Do you remember that, or do you have Alzheimer's? When he said that, the fucking terrorists in Syria, they got very scared because they were protected by the American military troops under Obama, when Obama was the president. So all of these jihadists and extremists, they were protected by the US military when Obama was in power. So Donald Trump came in power and came out and said, we don't have any business with Syria and I am going to pull out all the troops from Syria. So what the fuck did these jihadists do? They got paranoid. They were like, if the US troops pull out of Syria, we don't have any more protection. And in a matter of weeks, the whole country will become liberated and the Syrian army will win. So what did they do? They faked and staged a chemical attack in order to pressure the West to stay and keep their troops in Syria. And they succeeded. They staged a chemical attack in Douma. When the reporters went to Douma, they didn't find any trace of chemical weapons. And one American news network in America, they came to Syria and they reported about this. And I can give you the name of the reporter that said the truth. His name is Pearson Sharp. Pearson Sharp came to Damascus 2 days after the chemical attack story happened. And it's all on Google and YouTube. You can see it with your eyes. He came and even did an interview with me. And Pearson Sharp went to Duma. And he found no evidence that a chemical attack happened. But it was already too late. Because they staged the chemical attack. They staged it. And the second they staged it, CNN, Fox News, BBC, ABC, MSNBC, they all started reporting about it. So what happened? After 1 day exactly, America, France, and UK struck the fuck out of Syria. And that was how they were able to trick the West and pressure Donald Trump to keep his troops in Syria. Because now all the Republicans and the Democrats, the warmongers, they started telling Donald Trump, how the hell are you going to leave Syria when Assad is using chemical weapons on his people? And Donald Trump listened to them and he kept his troops in Syria. That is the story, my friend. I hope you would educate yourself more in the future before you talk rubbish, so that people that are educated wouldn't see how dumb and ignorant you sound. You understand? Do your research. Stop depending on CNN. You guys already know that CNN is a liar. So how would you believe what CNN is talking about in the Middle East when CNN is lying about things that are happening in America? So you want to tell me CNN is lying about things that is happening in America, but they're saying the truth about things happening in Syria when they don't have even people on the ground there? They're just talking shit. Educate yourself. Stop letting these people lie to you. Because the more they lie to you, the more they will have more reasons to be doing more wars and creating more chaos in the Middle East. What the hell is this? I'm telling you, Duma, the area that happened, in the chemical weapon allegedly happened, I swear to God, is 15 minutes away from where I live. So how the fuck did I survive that? If there was chemical, isn't there breeze? Isn't this going to reach my area? And it happened in the winter times. No, not in the winter time, like at the end of summer. So how didn't I die, and how did all the people of Duma died? You have to follow people that live there, in the ground. People that will show you live videos in the ground of Syria. Don't be listening to CNN and Fox News and all of these warmongers that lied to you about WMDs and lied to you about Afghanistan and lied to you about Iraq and lied to you about all of these countries, but suddenly now you believe them about the whole chemical. Look, I'm going to tell you something. Assad is not my friend. He's not my relative. I don't work for him. I don't work for the Syrian government. If he used chemical weapons, I'll tell you guys, he used chemical weapons. I'm not going to lie about it. He's not my relative. I don't work for him. I don't work for the Syrian government. I'm a Syrian citizen, and I love my country, and I love my people, and I want my country to end. But the difference between me and most of you is that I lived in Syria, so I could immediately tell when the mainstream media is lying, because I live fucking there. So like when the mainstream media is saying that, oh my God, there is a chemical attack happening in this area, I can easily go to that area and see if it is true or not. But how would you guys know if you guys live in New York and in Canada and Australia? You can't really depend on CNN. You can't really depend on Fox News. Follow people that live in that area, because those people are not going to lie to you. They can provide evidence by simply just going live on Facebook or on YouTube or on Instagram and show you things face to face, like you can see it directly. You don't need propaganda. You don't need news networks that are bought by political parties. Is it a secret that the CNN works for the Democrats? And is it a secret that Fox News works for the Republicans? Of course not. Everybody knows this. They are biased. So what did you really expect, you know? Go to YouTube after this sexiness ends. Go to YouTube, go to One American News Network and see the report they did about Syria, because they were very honest. And the reporter's name is Pearson Sharp. Search for it and look what they reported about it. If you really want to know like what is going on in Syria. This is the problem, guys. The problem, guys, with all of this war in the Middle East is that the mainstream media is lying to the people and justifying the crimes that their government is doing. That's why I don't really blame any person living in the West that is ignorant, because it's not that he is intentionally being ignorant. It's like he has no choice. He doesn't live in the Middle East. So how the hell does he know what is going to be happening in the Middle East? He needs to have connections in the ground to really know. And when you want to contact people in Syria, don't contact people that work for the Syrian government. And don't contact people that work with the jihadists. Contact normal citizens that have nothing to do with all of this bullshit. Just like how I was when I was living in Syria. I didn't work for those people. I didn't work for those people. I was a comedian doing stand-up comedy in bars. But then when the war started, I was forced to educate everyone about what is going on in my country because my people were dying. My country was destroyed. My economy was getting destroyed. My people were running away from their country. A refugee crisis. That's how you guys can educate yourself. You can't really rely on the mainstream media because they will lie and lie and lie and they don't care. They don't care. They will lie and keep on lying. And when their lie gets exposed, they will not come out the next day and apologize for the lie that they have done. They have said 18 million people would have already heard the lie and would have already believed it, and the news would have already been circulated, and everyone would be like, oh yeah, okay, Assad used chemical weapons. So guys, this needs to stop. You guys need to really tell your government that all of this bullshit cannot continue. Okay, they bombed Latakia's port today. They said Iranian weapons. Provide the evidence. Provide the evidence. And if Iran was sending weapons through the port, I would personally go to Iran and shit on their palace. You understand? But if you guys don't have like proof, then why would you like cause this huge destruction? This is a huge destruction. I'm not talking about something small. This is, look. "1:30 a.m. 1:30 a.m. People are sleeping. And it's Christmas. And it's Christmas. A holy week. It's Christmas. And people are getting ready for the new year, and you know how everyone is always optimistic about the new year. Oh, new year, new me, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, we're going to rebuild our country, things are going to get better, things are going to improve. Everybody's being optimistic, so they'll be like, oh, you guys are being optimistic about the future. Take this and remember. It's like, I don't understand these politicians. They are very evil people, and they are heartless. They are heartless, and we need more humanity in all government. But unfortunately, these governments, they're all fucking bastards, and it's the truth. And the only people that will pay the price are the people. Anyway, guys, I'm going to be leaving now. Thank you all for watching. I'm sorry if I've been emotional or used bad words or whatever, but I am very, very upset for my country and for my people. I love my country, and I will continue defending my country till the day I fucking die. I don't care. You understand? It's just upsetting, and let's just hope it doesn't happen again. But my only, a request for you all is, don't believe the mainstream media and do more research about things happening in Syria. And if you guys have a question, just send me a message to my inbox, and I would gladly tell you guys the truth. And I'm not going to lie to you. If, let's say, the Syrian government did something bad, I'm going to tell you. If the jihadists did something, I'm going to tell you. I don't work for anybody, So stay safe, guys. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hopefully my next live video is going to be positive and funny, and we will laugh and sing songs and do some funny stuff. But I have to be real with you guys, and you guys know me. I'm always real. I'm not a fake. I'm not a phony. And this is who I am. Take it or leave it. Peace. I love you guys, and say hello to my cat. Alright guys, take care. Love you all. Bye.